Welcome back to the Catalyst Pharmacy podcast. Today was just kind of super exciting because it's the first time we've really had a Best RX customer on the Pharmacy podcast. We've had Hemal on before. Hemal's with me at this episode, which is great. He's always brings a ton of insight, and he's again another guy in the room, always smarter than me. So we had Gifthealth, and we had Erin Simmons and Amy Edzkowski. The cool thing about this episode is normally we do usually a lot of community powerhouses, right? Like the guy, like the ladies and gentlemen out in the world, just like killing it in community. And we always get some industry advocacy stuff for industry folks and things like that. And this is a kind of a unique one. We've done a little health system before too. A unique one in the sense of they're a startup that's really working with like pharma manufacturers and trying to help patients navigate like high cost medications in general and affordability solutions and last mile delivery. But they also really highlight like some of the cool things Hemal and the team have done at Best RX. So really excited. And Hemal will be at I kind of loop in Connect, our Connect conference, our user conference in this one, and which Hemal will be at, the Gifthealth team will be at, and how they're kind of leveraging some of those tools. So we'll take you there now. So Amy and Erin, I don't think y'all have met me ever, for sure. I know y'all know Hemal super well. And I think from a Best RX perspective, it's their first Best RX customer on the podcast, right?
Yeah, you guys are the first ones. We've been trying to schedule some other ones back and forth, and the same thing, cancellations and stuff. But you guys are the first one.
Yeah, just life happening. But so thank you, and it's good to have you here. Like, I don't know, excited.
Yeah,
I was really excited about this podcast for that reason.
Yeah, we're super excited to be here. So thanks for having us.
You guys are with Gifthealth. Amy and Erin, could you both, like, whoever decides wants to go first, just like kind of tell us a little bit about what you do at Gifthealth? I know I'll tell everyone already, you're Best RX users, the first ones on the podcast, which we're crazy excited about. But and then maybe how you got to Gifthealth.
Get ready for Connect 2025. Enjoy an action-packed conference full of learning, innovation, and networking, and get the chance to experience the historic hospitality of Grapevine, Texas. Stroll through quaint streets lined with unique shops, cafes, and wineries. As the wine capital of Texas, Grapevine offers world-class wine tastings and tours. Take a scenic ride on the Grapevine Vintage Railroad for a step back in time. Experience all Grapevine has to offer at Connect 2025.
Yeah, go ahead. All right. My name's Erin. And my route to Gifthealth. So I've been in the healthcare space for a bit. Started at Cover My Meds and then transitioned to Script Drop, which I did have the pleasure of working with Hemal at both of my other companies.
Both stops.
And then transitioned here to Gifthealth. So it's been a good experience. But mainly my role here at Gifthealth. So I guess prior I was working more on the operations side directly with Amy. And then of course with Best RX pretty frequently. Still do that now, but recently transitioned more so into a product role. Looking for advancements and ways to iterate on features and kind of go with our growing business.
Okay. Next.
Yep. And then I've been in the pharmacy industry for about 18 years now. Really love, helping patients, getting patients what they need, and just really like innovating for getting prescriptions out the door and so forth. I've been at independent pharmacies most of my life and my career since I've been younger. Just really, really enjoyed it and really like those kind of like mom and pop shops. I was at a company before this for about 10 years. Helped kind of grow the business, build the business. And when it got to a point where I'm like, hey, like I need something new, I need another challenge. I found Gifthealth and I was really excited about all the innovation, technology, like engineers behind the scenes that were helping drive patients' adherence and getting their medication and so forth. So been here with Gifthealth now just going on 3 years. Started kind of in the operations and stayed in operations, and I'm the VP of operations. So yeah, really enjoyed it and looking forward to the future too.
if you could kind of give the audience a little bit. So we have listeners, we have viewers. So I'll level set just a smidge for the listeners. I get the pleasure of also having a co-host this time with Hemal. The second time he's been on the podcast, and so you're going to hear Hemal pop in as well. So for the folks not watching, I guess. The other part, I guess, could you explain a little bit about Gifthealth, the model? This is what's kind of really cool about this podcast from my perspective is obviously we have a bunch of community pharmacy powerhouses always on this a podcast. And every once in a while we get to sprinkle in some industry stuff, some advocacy stuff, but also different business models included, like some health system stuff. But really, I feel like you guys are super unique in how you approach pharmacy and your business model and who all of your customers are from that perspective. So if you could just give us a little bit of an overview of the customer's business model, however you want to call it, the business.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously Gifthealth's been around, a little over 4 years, co-founded, started by Nicholas Potts and John Romano. John Romano is still involved in the business, and he's the president at Gifthealth. And they really wanted to figure out a way to get medications to patients in a quicker manner and an efficient manner, and making sure they're getting, the most cost-effective price that they could. So Gifthealth, we really pride and focus on, we have a non-dispensing pharmacy where all of our prescriptions kind of come into, and we route those prescriptions where they need to go. So we make sure that those patients, what coupons can we apply or what discounts can we apply for those patients to make sure that they're getting that lowest price, and where are they located in the United States. We are licensed in all 50 states. We can ship to all 50 states. But we also have a network of pharmacies that we use across the country to help us get prescriptions to their hands faster as well. So I think that's a big thing about Gifthealth. Patients can come in, kind of have that peace of mind, knowing, if insurance is billable, we'll bill the insurance. If their insurance doesn't cover a product, we're able to work with that pharmaceutical manufacturer, and we have coupons and we have those discount cards that take care of that stuff right away. Patient will, go to the checkout. They'll be able to see what medication they have. They can see what savings they had. And it's pretty much just like a seamless experience where they can use that checkout link start to finish. And then that medication shows up at their door. So we work closely with pharmaceutical manufacturers to get that medication out. And we've worked a lot with some direct to consumers lately as well. And we're doing some direct to consumer where the medication, comes to us, we fill that medication, then we send it as well. So there's kind of a couple of different parts to our business to make sure that those patients get exactly what they need in a timely manner.
Okay. So it sounds like sometimes on behalf of, or maybe not on behalf of, I don't know how to say it, but with a close partnership with I know it seems like there's I'll just call it a strategy some pharma manufacturers are employing with a direct to the patient, I'll just say, approach from that perspective. So you partner with those manufacturers as well then?
Yeah, absolutely. We do direct to consumer manufacturers as well. We have a program that we've been working on since around August and have several thousand patients that go through on a daily basis, and we take care of them and dispense them direct to their door.
Yeah, the volume has been impressive to see, to be honest with you. They, we can see how many prescriptions they're filling on our end, obviously, and they've grown very quickly they have a few locations, and all 3 of their locations are in the top 5 or 6 of the volume out of all of our clients that we do.
So y'all had to scale and probably come with some growing pains around scaling.
Exactly. Yeah. I remember when they opened their latest location, they called us all right, we're going to open up we have a new NPI. We got to do some new operations. We need about 250 workstations installed in 3 days. Can you guys do it? We're like, wow. All right, let's do this. So which was first time we've ever had that request, but we got it going and the operations hit the ground running. So it's been impressive. And working with Gifthealth, they really, we've been able to help them, but they've really been able to help us a lot too, because our software wasn't designed for that much volume that quickly, right? But we work with them quickly to build the tools that we can automate a lot of things. So we've expanded our API capabilities quite a bit so that humans don't have to do a lot of the tasks that can be done via API. Gifthealth has a great tech team on their end. So we're exchanging data between BestRx and their platform constantly, so they know what's going on. So between the two platforms, we're able to talk quite a bit and automate a lot of things that normally you'd have to have a few people on. I mean, probably what we're doing with the APIs, we're saving, how many employees do you think we're saving right now with the APIs? You guys would know. You both will know better than I do.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be like honestly a crazy amount. I'm just thinking like for one task specifically that we're using the API for, I mean, dozens, if not more, of employees for sure, just for like one task. So, and there's a lot of tasks that are automated. So, yeah, it saves a lot of time, efficiencies, and helps us make sure that, those patients get through as quickly as possible.
Yeah. So primarily it sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, and steer me a different way if you don't, if you want to. It sounds like the patients are coming to Gifthealth really on the brand side. Like they're trying to find. I'm sure you guys do other medications for patients as well, but it sounds like some of the foray and some of the partnerships it sounds like you guys have is like you're really trying to help patients navigate how to get access to a drug. Yep. Whether you need to employ affordability solutions or programs or like that, get some last mile help from a delivery perspective too, maybe potentially, and things like that. It's like, am I thinking about that right? And kind of the patients you serve and your other customers, I'm sure are pharma companies as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. A lot of the medications that we're dispensing are those branded medications. Some of those branded medications that require prior authorizations or the patient's not able to get it covered by their insurance and so forth. We have those other options that we're able to do. That way they get that lowest price and there's not as many barriers between them and their insurance company. Like sometimes prior authorizations could take several days to get through, where if we're able to apply something that gets them to a lower price that they're able to afford out of pocket, they have that medication in their hand, shortly thereafter.
Right. And so from the product manager's perspective, that platform you guys live on is part of the platform that you guys built and that you help curate and build and roadmap, it sounds like, as well.
Yeah, for sure. Erin can talk a little bit on that since she's more on the product side.
Yeah. So, from the product perspective, the features and I guess portal that you could say that we have built, it does allow us to reach the patients via, some phone calls and text messages to let them know that we have their prescriptions. And then, if we do need their insurance, we do have the capability of receiving that from them without even actually talking to them. And then we did work with BestRx pretty closely to be able to utilize an API to actually, sync that insurance directly into BestRx, which has helped with the automation process as well. And then kind of on the same lines that what Amy was talking about with applying coupons and things like that, helping to avoid the patient having to wait on a PA and things. I think that there's a point where we were able to reach patients in a different way as far as kind of being more informational. A lot of them think, with some of these medications that they should be covered by their insurance in full. So we were able to educate the patient some too on the process.
Oh, wow. Okay. And you kind of already hinted on some of the APIs and the way you're using, I would just call it a super unique approach to pharmacy and the labor effort around getting a prescription through that, I'll just say sometimes challenging process you just kind of outlined. Could you speak to a little more of that? Like how are you guys leveraging some of that technology or BestRx in general just to get some more throughput as much as possible?
Yeah, I think, one of a big piece is that insurance piece. We don't always receive insurance from the doctor on the prescription. A lot of times they have the patient's medical coverage, but not the prescription coverage. So BestRx obviously has a great feature, their plan finder, that we can discover a lot of insurance for patients. But in the event that, maybe an address is incorrect on the prescription, we are able to reach out to that patient, get that insurance information so that we can actually process it for the patient. And then obviously, depending on that rejection that or paid claim that we get, apply any coupons to help the patient out as much as possible.
Yeah, and to kind of go back to what Erin was saying about like when information on the prescription is not correct, like for example, on the patient, the address is wrong or the phone number is wrong.
Right.
They don't have to change it in both spots. They just change it in one spot, whether it's BestRx or on the Gifthealth platform, and it syncs up automatically via API because the data flows both ways. So that's one way you reduce errors, you reduce the manual work of doing duplicate data entry and whatnot, So that helps them out. At least I think so.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you talked about like how much you've scaled. This is me going off script a little bit, but it's just interesting to get both a product lens from Erin and Amy and operation lens from you. Y'all have gone from probably filling a few a day to I don't even know the number, but really high amount of volume per day. Yeah. I'm sure from a platform you've had to evolve, Erin, and then also clearly from an ops perspective you've had to evolve, and then you have to get the people around you rallied to be ready for all of that. Sounds like you don't work at Gifthealth without being pretty nimble in your thought process. I guess. So what are some of the I guess maybe high points or really cool things you can point to that the team hit or that you guys like when you guys started using some APIs and you're like really started to see it or something like that around like the change management of scaling like that?
If I could chime in one thing here, one of the things I remember helped you all scale quite a bit was when we started doing the ORTF imports, right? It's not actually an API, but it helps to automate data entry of the prescription. So Gifthealth gets a lot of prescriptions coming in via electronic prescription, like normal, like pharmacies normally do, but they also get a ton of transfers as well. And when you get those transfers, if they're not coming electronically, it's such a manual process to do the data entry, but we can utilize the ORTF import where the sender sends us a big old batch file and they literally can import thousands of prescriptions into the system in minutes. And the data entry is done and it's all queued up, ready for the next person to work on those things, get the PAs, adjudicate, do what they need to do.
Wow, that's huge.
From an operation standpoint, like obviously what Hemal's saying, like that's super important. We went from a team of 70 to now we have over 350. So,
holy smokes.
It's a pretty quick growing and we're continuing to grow as, things scale and so forth. The team just really rallies around each other. We have like a very close-knit team and work very closely to, always improve, think outside the box, what operational efficiencies can we do? And how do we get those like out the door as soon as possible? So, there's even more relief to continue to scale. I would say the biggest thing is, we're going to surpass taking care of over 200,000 patients this month, which is insane and awesome. And so like, we just want, like, we always tell the team, like, I know, like, Erin and I together, like we're always just like to the team, like just think of how far we've come, think of how much we've accomplished and think of how many patients we've helped. And I think that's just like a big accomplishment. And like, that's what keeps the team going. Like just that's looking at that broader picture in the future. And like, maybe next month we're helping 300,000 and maybe by the end of the year, who knows what that looks like, but just seeing that and seeing the data come through and that scale and, the line graph, like all of a sudden just shooting straight up. You're like, this is amazing. So
I love everyone loves an up and to the right chart, right? Yeah. Everybody does, but it even get a little even more exciting. It sounds like y'all have had some up and to the rights, but it also sounds like you've had some up and to the rights up, then to the up and to the right. Yeah. So
keep going up.
Whenever Gifthealth signs a new agreement with a partner or a contract or something, there's always like a nervous email sent, be like, hey, so we're gonna be scaling quite a bit in the next week or so. What can we do to do this? And the great thing is their team is so great to work with. We work with our developers, their developers, product people, everyone work together. And usually we're able to hammer out something, even if like in the beginning, it's like very crude or very, just putting things together, but at least getting something there to bridge us to like a more permanent solution. And that's a collaboration we have with the Gifthealth team that we understand. It's not going to be perfect right away, but let's just at least, take the steps to make things easier and faster, and we'll get to where we want to be.
Is that something like, I would just say like one, I already know from working with Hemal, he is hyper collaborative in any way. So that makes it easy from that perspective. It sounds like you guys are from a culture perspective at Gift, Amy or Erin, that's just ingrained in your DNA a little bit. It's just from like the fact that there are two people on this call, like, you know what I mean? They're like that you could tell, like, it's just like a collaborative, like probably a collaborative culture in the DNA of Gift. Is that an accurate statement? I'm sure it is.
Yeah, I think, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, I think, from, I guess, my personal opinion, one of the most attractive things to Gifthealth is we are super collaborative, and everyone is always, I guess I could go back and say one of the biggest things also is no idea is too small. We love to just throw out different ideas and spitball. I mean, I can't really tell you the amount of times that Amy and I have met in a room and just kind of thrown out different ideas. Half of them were terrible, but maybe we landed on one good one. Right. So yeah, I think that's definitely something at Gifthealth that we is a very strong piece of our culture.
Right. I am Himmel will tell you I'm a great source of bad ideas. So if you
no, I'd say Mark has a lot.
You need more of those.
So he's selling himself short right there.
but I have no lack of them. I'll say that as well. So I guess I'll ask, since you guys had all that throughput with as you layer on manufacturer, I'll just call them manufacturer programs, with, for lack of a better a term for patients. As you think through, so I want to give something to everyone listening, some of the community folks or whatever, a jump in scale like that, a pop in scale like that, and sometimes even community pharmacies. Amy, I think you said you worked in those a long time. You'll get those if you go buy out a pharmacy somewhere, like a local pharmacy somewhere, or something like that, or someone just shuts down, or one of the chains shut one of theirs down. You'll get an influx. What is, I guess, from an operations perspective, Amy, what's your approach with the team around, hey, we're about to get a pop in volume here based off a relationship we did, and talking to the team and getting them on the same page around that?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes, honestly, that's some of like the hardest part too, because there's times where like there's a new contract coming in or something that's coming in that, there's only certain bits and pieces that we can share of that. Yeah. So, making sure that we share it at the right time when we can share it, and share it to the correct people. That way, anyone that's in the management level, director levels, anything like that, then they're able to share it with their team. And, for something that we just recently launched, like we got everyone around the table and we're like, hey guys, this is what's happening. This is what's coming. Like we told all of in our managers or leadership, like, this is what we're expecting. It's going to be a lot of volume, but it's going to be super fun and it's exciting. And you're here to help us build it from the ground up, and know that you play an important part in it. And then just passing that information to the right people, so that way the managers can give that information to all of their employees so they know what's going on as well. So I think it's really just getting the right people around the table, being very transparent, and here's what we're expecting. It could be more, it could be less, but this is what we're expecting, and this is what we know to be true. And how do we execute and make sure it gets done? And then how do we make everyone feel like they're a big part of it?
Right. Yeah. There's a little bit of I call it, I think the term I've used before is a little bit of surge work, because the initial part of it is where it's the heaviest. It always usually feels that way anyway. And then it starts to normalize, and you figure out your new normal after that volume pop. So, and I was thinking through that.
How do you all when you have that surge? I've noticed you all hire very quickly. That's something that I think a lot of companies struggle with. When you got to hire a whole bunch of people at once, you got to get them in there and train quickly. Can you tell us a little bit about how you handle that? Because I think that's a challenge that not just pharmacies, but all sorts of companies have.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have an amazing HR and recruiting department. We have multiple people in that department. And then we also use some third party as well, because we have to make sure that we can scale and scale quickly when we need to. And it doesn't matter if you have 10 recruiters, 20 recruiters, sometimes you just need more. So we definitely we have amazing recruiters in-house that do an awesome job, that find us the right candidates and right people that we need to fill those spots that we need. And then we use, like I said, a couple additional third-party vendors that we work very closely with, that we've had a great relationship with for, going on a year now. And they help us when we're it's go time. They're like, oh, it's go time. Okay, how many do you need? Let's get it done. And, then we all collaborate, and it's this is what we need by this date. And then here's what we expect, in the future as well. We use capacity planning in addition to that. But as people know that is in industries that are quickly growing, sometimes capacity planning, you can capacity plan as much as you want, and you're still
you do your
no,
best.
I need more.
Yeah,
So,
you do your best. Yep.
But yeah, so I mean, I would say like I said, those recruiters are amazing, and the third parties that we work with are awesome.
Well, HR department at Gift, if you're listening, y'all just got some flowers, just FYI. So I guess I want to go. I guess I'm going back to the patient experience just a smidge there. And maybe this is for Erin or Amy. I don't really know. You guys can tee this up, whichever. But I know it sounds like there's a ton of trying to stay connected to the patient while doing basically a last mile delivery, right? Like you're probably helped Hemal, I imagine, build out some pretty robust shipping features in BestRx. I guess could we explore kind of a little bit of the last mile piece from an ops perspective, I guess, and how that's utilized, but then too what y'all wrap with the patient a little bit, maybe even from a product lens.
Remember the trouble you all had, not trouble, I guess, but the pain points you had with the shipping interface in BestRx, right? Like it worked, but you had to choose all the options. Is it next day? What's the wait? What is the rate that you want to do? All that kind of stuff, right? You want to tell them a little bit about how you helped us. You gave the ideas on how to automate that stuff. We put it in place, but the ideas came from you all. So if you can tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously when you're doing a large scale volume of delivery, direct to consumer, and you have thousands of packages going through, and you have to check that medication out, and there's multiple options to choose from, where it's like, okay, you have essentially 10 to 15 clicks that you have to do. And then you also have to rely on someone to make that decision and make the correct decision. We worked very closely with Hemal, and we're like, hey, this package, this product is the same weight, same dimensions, everything. And it's always the same service level. This is what it's going to be. And we worked very closely with him and his team was able to modify that for us. And actually, something that took 30 seconds per prescription, now it's cut in half. It's down to 15 seconds. So,
nice.
And when you're in a large scale environment, it seems like, okay, 15 seconds, how big is that? But when you're talking thousands and thousands, it adds up very, very quickly. It also helps kind of remove that human error a little bit as well. Humans make mistakes. We make errors. We are human, but being able to have all of those features in BestRx helped us, so we decreased and minimized that as well, where it would get on the exact time frame when it's supposed to get to the patient and so forth. So
nice. So I guess with that in that regard, from a product lens, Erin, is would you guys kind of go through from there from a gift platform perspective? Did that help you guys? I'm sure from a throughput perspective for sure, but I imagine the integrations probably enhance the experience for the patient as well. I imagine from a platform perspective.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. So obviously kind of the connection between everything Amy just talked about, as soon as that tracking link is created, we receive that from BestRx. And then we actually keep in contact with the patient to let them know that their prescription's on the way. So just to make sure that they're in the loop, they can track their medication if need be. If they're not going to be home, they know when to be home. So they can access that link at any point. They would receive that via text message.
Oh, nice. So basically you're using that to keep notifications going and keep the patient connected to the experience. That makes total sense. That's really cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, shoot. Is there anything I'm forgetting, Hemal? I feel like we've already burned through a lot here, and I'm looking at the time going, man, I'm trying to be respectful as well. Is there anything else I'm forgetting? I have a million questions, but I don't want to keep everybody an hour and a half to 2 hours for this.
Yeah.
We can do Joe Rogan style and just sit here and smoke cigars for 4 hours and
set off some fire alarms. Always smoke cigars.
Right. I've had to evacuate in the middle of a podcast before, not because I'm smoking in here, but just in general.
I'm gonna have to find that one on the.
I've literally had to shut it down and come back. Anyway.
No, I mean, the only other thing I think we maybe didn't cover is, Gifthealth scaled and added all those employees and everything. But if I'm correct, they don't all work in the office, right? You all also have remote employees that work from home and things like that. And I think one of the things that makes that possible is that we have the cloud hosted version as well. So that's allowed.
Oh, that's right.
That goes to scaling as well, right? So you don't have to. Yeah, I'm adding 100 employees, but I don't need to necessarily get 100 new workstations and desks and everything because we're able to connect to the cloud and people can work remotely. So has that helped you all out a lot?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. It's definitely helped. I think just for scalability too. And, we do have a lot of employees in-house that are here at a downtown location or, you know, kind of like that Hilliard, Columbus location. But we also have those individuals offsite that it's definitely beneficial for.
It's where's the Gifthealth footprint anyway? Like I knew Columbus, but like where's the, I guess, hard offices? And I know y'all got virtual employees or remote employees literally everywhere, I imagine.
Yeah, so downtown Columbus is the main
Yep.
location, whereas like our non-dispensing pharmacy is located at. So it's like right in the heart of downtown Columbus.
Nice, dude. I love Columbus. It's like, don't take offense to this because I don't mean it this way, but it's like the Austin of Texas. It's like kind of cool, kind of weird, kind of cool though, but in a cool way. Like it's a college town, like a big college town. So.
Yeah. Big Ohio State.
Don't come at me, Columbus people later. All right.
It is crazy
Please.
how many large pharmacy companies are around Columbus, in and around there, right?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true. Surprising at Pittsburgh as well. Like every time I go to Pittsburgh, I'm running into people there too as well. Like both those places. I was just like, I didn't realize it. Well, that's cool. Well, I think you guys are growing. This is a really cool, unique take on like the conversation around pharmacy for this podcast. So I really appreciate you both. I don't let anybody leave here without this question though. And if it's a surprise to you, I'm sorry. We could take a minute to think about it. We could cut that out. No worries. But like, it's called like a little segment we do. And Hemal, I'm going to hit you with this too. So you're going to have one. So think fast.
All right.
And maybe you'll go first. Let them think about this if they don't know about it. So it's called Prescribables. And basically it's just like, I know I'm building it up way too much to be really fair.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. Now
think on your feet. I'm kidding. I'm building this up way too much. But it's just like, what are you reading, watching, or listening to, or doing that you think the rest of the people listening could be cool, or that you're looking forward to? Whatever it is, just something like from that perspective.
Yeah.
We'll make Hemal go first. And literally, an example of this is I've heard people say podcast. I've heard people say books. I've also had people talk about pickleball. So don't worry about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, this one's easy this time around. So, my wife and I just started watching Severance, which has been getting a lot of hype. Season 2 just came out, and we did not watch season 1 when it first came out, but we finally got on board. So we're a few episodes in there. So, I mean, it makes you think. It's crazy. So, I mean, I won't ruin it for the people who haven't seen it, but the premise is essentially, if you work for this company, they do a little thing to your brain, a little implant, so that when you're working in the office, you have no knowledge of the outside world, of what's going on, like what your life is like. You just know what's going on at work. And then when you're outside of work, you have no knowledge about what you're doing at work or everything. So it's essentially two separate lives going on. But then obviously with any good TV show, there's a lot of mystery and intrigue that surrounds that. So we've been enjoying that so far.
That's such a good show. All right. I'm going to call in Erin next.
Oh gosh. I am not a big like TV watcher. I know this is terrible. Everyone always asks me, what do you do in your free time? And
what are you doing?
I mean, I don't know.
It can be product related. That's okay too. Like that's fine.
That's the problem. I read Gifthealth Slack a lot. I stay pretty in tune with that. No, I think for me, I do stay pretty connected to work. And so I think when I do try to disconnect, obviously with a startup, it's been extremely busy. We've been through some times where it's been absolutely crazy. And then, things have kind of maybe had a little bit of a lull, if you want to call it that. And
it's
then
called normalization, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I think that I would just say, my disconnect, if I were to say that kind of from work, is I kind of like to go for runs. So it's time where I kind of disconnect. And to be honest, I think about work a lot during those different ideas and features that we can kind of develop and ways to enhance our process and things like that.
All right. Well, I officially
not very excited.
Feel bad. So that's good. That's good. Amy?
Erin would not be a good candidate for Severance, because if she's thinking of her ideas at all, it's not going to work out for her.
It's not going to work out for her. Exactly. She'll literally be the other person for like 20 minutes, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, this is going to sound terrible, but like, I'm kind of with Erin too. I would say, just kind of keeping up on some of those rules and regulations that are changing, reading a lot of state rules and regulations. I'm signed up for a lot of like FDA notifications, different board of pharmacies. And, I think that's kind of where, look at some of that stuff, see what's changing, see what's ever evolving in the pharmaceutical industry and in the compliance section. So
cool. No, that makes sense. Like I was looking at almost down the same vein, Amy, of I can't remember what site I was on, but there was a site, and I think it might have been National Association of Boards of Pharmacy. I can't remember which one. Mm-hmm. So I'm doing this. I'll find it and I'll put it in the show notes, everyone. But a really good like state by state. Hey, this is what's new. This is what's coming. I thought that was super interesting the other day. I was like, I didn't know this was like somebody was actually curating some of this. It's more of the higher level stuff, not the super small like. I would just say less meaningful changes, but I can't remember that. I'll put it in the show notes though from there. So sorry, everyone. It's not as profound from that, but like from a looking forward to, I guess I'll give two. I'll give one for leisure. I get to go fishing in October, and I just booked that, so I'm super pumped about that. We'll go try to snag after the NCPA conference, I believe.
Where do you go fishing?
Just in Florida, like offshore Florida, like not deep sea, like it's still like whatever you would call it, not deep sea. I can't remember. Inshore, I think is what that's called. I don't know enough. I'm usually there for the vibes and the drinks and all that good stuff. And hopefully the fish doesn't pull me in. But that's what I get to do. So, all right, well, good stuff. Well, I'm going to plug this. I don't know if y'all are coming, but or if anybody watching coming, I'll plug the Connect conference. We do have a user conference. BestRx will have their own education lane. So if you guys got any technicians at Gift, or if anybody in the Best ecosystem in general wants to go and learn how to use it more, we'll plug that on the front end of the podcast when I do the like more of the formal introduction of the podcast. But we already got almost 1,000 people coming to that conference. Got some BestRx folks coming. They're going to be teaching tracks on BestRx too. So Hemal will be there if you want to kind of see him in person, shake his hand, or beat him up either way.
Some of our teammates are coming. So
good. That's great.
Yeah.
So,
hopefully we get
stuff.
more of the team. So
yeah, that's good. So that's in June in Grapevine, Texas, in my backyard here. So I get to be the person who gets to go home. But it'll be good. So all right. Well, Amy, Erin, again, thank you guys for both being on so much.